Hello everyone. It's Thursday, March 12th, 2020. Hope you're all doing great. Because of the time we live in, I wanted to share part of my book Gold and Copper with you. Now this is a fictional story, but is based on real people and real events that happened about 100 years ago. My hope is that you can take this information and use it in a positive way in your own lives. So here we go. The story starts with Tom and Elsie Campbell. Tommy was born about 1900 and Elsie in 1902. They lived in a small town in southwestern Colorado, even though the true story actually takes place in southern Alabama near the border with Florida. Now Tommy's family was extremely poor, barely able to get by, but they did for a number of years until Tommy's father had an accident at the local copper mine. After that, Tommy had to quit school to help provide for his family. It became more difficult when the nation and world had to deal with the Spanish flu pandemic of 1917. His sister and many of the community members got the flu, but they made it through those challenging experiences. He read a lot and learned as much as he could. He worked hard and learned to work smart. And he looked for opportunities to help himself and others. Now that's really important for later. And he truly cared about other people. He married his childhood sweetheart, Elsie Miller, in 1923. Through the 1920s, he saved and followed his intuition, not his emotions. In 1929, when the financial markets collapsed, they were at peace because they were prepared and didn't panic. They shared and helped the community members. When an earthquake hit the local copper mine, they assisted those that were put out of work because of the crisis. When the banks and the local government collapsed because of corruption and contention, they were able to step in and create a sense of peace and harmony. It brought the community closer together. Even with the great drought in the 1930s and the storms that isolated their community from food and other resources being brought in, they still rallied the community together. They created farm co-ops and helped with food production. It helped them get through the Great Depression. Together, Elsie and Tommy acquired food production facilities and resources to employ people and keep their local economy going, even when the rest of the country was struggling. They personally made sure that no one in the community was homeless or went hungry. They genuinely cared about others, and their kindness and consideration was contagious. When World War II started, they used their resources to help in the war effort. After the war ended, they shifted their production facilities to employing people making consumer products and sent resources and food overseas to help rebuild Europe. In the 1950s, they were the equivalent of multimillionaires in today's dollars. Why am I telling you this? It's not because they canceled the NBA season yesterday, and it's not what happened 100 years ago necessarily is going to repeat in our day. But it's this: whatever happens in the next few weeks and months, whether mass health issues or financial collapse or earthquakes, storms, drought, natural disaster, government problems, my question is, what would you do? Tom and Elsie Campbell worked together with their family, friends, and community for the benefit of all, and it saved them. They weren't in fear, and because of that, they looked for the good that benefited themselves and all around them. They found the opportunities and prospered even while the rest of the country was struggling. They thrived because they utilized their resources and knowledge, like taking the copper in the earth and turning it into gold metaphorically. And this is not just with money. It's in all aspects of life. It's in your mind and in your heart. It's in your relationships with everything and everyone. They goldened the copper in their lives for the benefit of all around them. What's your golden copper?